how to avoid weight loss slips. And this is assuming that you can't afford to fly to a private island where there's no other people, right? Because the biggest hurdle to whether or not you can stay on your diet or your food plan is other people. If you want to be able to lose weight and keep it off, you need to have the courage to consistently eat differently than everyone else, including your past self. I personally had to wrap my head around the fact that what I needed to do to stop being an obese person was to completely change what I was eating before and not go back ever to that way of eating. Because I hear people all the time who are actively trying to lose weight say things like, oh my God, I cannot wait to go back to eating normal. And that to me is like a flashing red flag. Friend, get that out of your head. Normal, it was the problem for you. Normal is what got you into the mess that you're likely in if you're watching this or listening to my voice, right? According to the CDC, in 2020, approximately 74% of American adults were overweight or obese. Normal's not good. Normal is what we want to try to avoid so that we can actually be healthy. If you are new here, hi, my name is Heather Schucker. I'm a nurse practitioner. I personally lost 80 pounds without meds or surgery, and my goal is to help you along your weight loss journey so you too can be successful at changing your mindset, changing your habits, and keeping your head in the game. What even is a weight loss slip? That's basically us just eating foods off of our plan that we wish we hadn't. That's what a slip is. It's not premeditated. It's not planned. It's not something that we really are looking forward to. It's something we found ourselves eating unplanned that we didn't want to eat. I'm going to give you 6 strategies on how to avoid weight loss slips, but you're going to notice that there's a through line here. And that through line is really how to deal with everyone else. Part of the problem is internal, and I'm going to talk about that too. But the real issue is that we're just living in a very problematic food environment, and that food environment entices us to eat foods that are off plan, eat foods that make us fat because that's how we got here in the first place. So we need to learn how not to let our food environment take over, how to be the thinking animals that we are, and to be conscientious, to live with intention and choose how we're going to eat instead of just letting the environment dictate what we eat and therefore keep us sick or unhealthy. Literally almost everywhere you go, you are going to run into some problems. I don't care if it's a family event, a social event, a volunteer event, a school event, if it's a wedding, a funeral, a baby shower, a birthday party. Everywhere that you go that food is served, there is going to be served challenging foods for you. I guarantee it. I don't even need to know you or who your friends are. The foods that cause us to gain weight are being served everywhere you go without exception. So what are you supposed to do about it? So strategy number 1, bring your own. What do I mean by that? You're going to an event at someone's house. It's always polite to bring something to someone's house. So bring your own. You have a potluck at work. Bring your own. Even if you're going on something like a road trip food is terrible. There's not anything good on the road. Well, it's good. It tastes good. But as far as, helping you along your weight loss journey, if it's, sold in a gas station or at a fast food restaurant, it's probably not great. And even if there are some good options, it is awfully tempting to not get those and get the problematic ones. So just bring your own. Strategy number 2, if bring your own is not an option, eat before you go. Your mother always told you, don't spoil your dinner, don't eat anything, spoil your dinner, spoil that lunch, spoil whatever thing that you're going into that is a landmine of problematic foods for you. So if you have to go out to eat for work and it's at a restaurant where the menu is just teeming with things that are challenging for you, don't go hungry. Same thing if you're going to a party, if you're going to any kind of occasion that has all kinds of foods that that once you're there, you're going to be super tempted, don't go hungry. Strategy number 3, and this is across the board, just in general in life, Have a plan. If you go to a restaurant, don't wait until you get there to look at that menu and decide what you're going to have, because you're already hungry and you're going to see all the things that you want and you're going to get a case of the Effets and you're going to order it and eat it anyway. Plan what you're going to eat at the restaurant before you get there and make that decision, hopefully in a fed state. Or if you know every day when you get home from work, you're starving and you're reaching in the refrigerator or in the cabinet for something to eat, plan for that. Have something that's on your food plan, something that doesn't have a whole lot of refined carbs in it, ready and in the refrigerator. So as soon as you walk in, you have something that is safe for you to have that won't derail you just because you were hungry when you got home from work, like you're always hungry when you get home from work. Strategy number 4, define your diet. I know that sounds obvious, what we want to be eating, but I really want you to stop and think about it. I personally choose to not eat refined carbohydrates. So my diet is meat and vegetables with some fats. That's the definition of my diet. So if there are foods outside of that definition, then they're not on my diet. And I know that if I eat those, then I'm going, off trail, right? Those are not on course. So there has to be a compelling reason for me to eat those. Is it my birthday? Is it one of my children's birthday? Is it Christmas, right? A very compelling reason to go off course and eat something that is not, an animal product, a vegetable, or, healthy fats. That's what I eat. Those are my foods. So you should have an idea of what your foods are so that it can be very black and white when you go to one of these events. You should be able to look at a food and say, is that my food or is that not my food? Now, I understand that some people, have foods that they want to eat occasionally, but not every day, right? So define that for yourself, because it is awfully easy for social occasions to start stacking up. And before you know it, you've got, a birthday dinner this day, and then you're eating out with your friends this day, and then you have the wedding over the weekend, and then right? And you're going to event after event with all of these foods that aren't your foods. And it seems justified because it's a celebratory situation, but you're getting further and further off track because your body doesn't know that it's a celebratory situation. Now, I know moderation is a commonly taught weight loss strategy, which is basically you can have any food you want, you just need to eat small portions. Friend, I would argue if you were able to do that already, you would have. Okay? That I'll speak for myself. If I was able to do that, I would have. I have demonstrated over and over again that I cannot do that. For me, it is all or nothing. And so since I want to maintain my weight loss, I choose nothing. As in, I choose not to eat any of the problematic food. Not, I'll just have one cookie. I'll just have a couple of bites of ice cream. I'll just have a little tiny bit. That does not work for me. You can try it. Of course, you can try whatever you want. Try it. But if it's not working for you and you keep struggling and you are bound and determined to make this thing happen, then maybe moderation doesn't work for you either. Maybe the solution for you is that that's an off-limit food for me. That's problematic. I'm going to reserve that for a couple times a year, literally. Maybe once a month for some things. It is my default position at nearly every meal that I eat not to eat foods that make me less healthy, to only eat foods that move me toward health. Because in every situation, that's the choice we're making, right? We're either heading towards a healthier body or we're heading away from it. And you need to statistically be heading toward that healthy body way more often than you're heading away from it. And that's the mindset that you have to have if you want to have any kind of longevity in your weight loss journey. Like, you got to be willing to say no, 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 yes, and then no, 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 right? It needs to be part of how you do it. That needs to be part of your routine and your habits, because if it's not, then you're going to say yes, 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 yes. And you're going to be off the rails. You're no longer going to be losing weight, or you'll lose it and then you gain it back and lose it and gain it back. These are kind of the tough choices you have to make if you want to actually be successful. Because like I said, these opportunities are coming at you rapid fire, day after day after day. You are going to be constantly bombarded with foods that are off plan. So if it is not your default to say no, if it is your default to say yes, that is probably a huge part of your problem. You need to default to no. Which leads to strategy number 5, which is to fortify your no thank you. You need to be willing to say no thank you in most circumstances. People want to give food to you. They want to feed you. It is part of our culture. It is part of how we show community. It is a huge part of being human. I get that. I also am a human, and I also want to feel community with the people around me, but not to the point where it makes me sick. Just try not to confuse not eating food that's problematic for you with lack of gratitude. Those are not the same thing. You can be super grateful for someone to give you something without having to put it in your mouth. If you were allergic to peanuts and somebody gave you a bag of gourmet peanuts, you would be like, oh my God, that was so nice. But you wouldn't then eat them, right? You would give them away or you throw them in the trash, but you wouldn't eat something that was going to harm you just because someone gave it to you to be nice. They might not have known that it wasn't nice. And honestly, I don't think people are out to keep us fat. I don't think it's maliciously, with malicious intent. They just don't know any better because that's what normal is. So when people are trying to be kind to us, the gracious thing to do is say thank you, but no thank you, and move on. Strategy number 6, pause and remember why you're doing this. Every time you're about to go into what is likely a problematic situation for you, whether it be a social gathering, whether it be a restaurant, whether it be getting home from work starving, whether it be going into a convenience store, whether it be going to a potluck at work, whatever the case may be, if you're about to walk into what you know is a minefield, stop, take a breath, remember why you are doing this, right? It is worth taking the time, if you haven't already, to consider that. Why am I even doing this? Why do I want to lose weight? Because it is not easy. It it takes a relentlessness to keep your head in this game. Because as I mentioned, nobody around you is going to be eating like you. Unless you're one of the rare few that can, have an accountability buddy or a partner or a friend or somebody who's right there in your life with you. For the most part, you are going this alone in your day-to-day life. You might have some support in your periphery, but you're out there alone when you're going to these events. Why are you doing it? You need a real good reason or you will quit. I'm doing it for my health. I'm doing it for my children. I'm doing it so that no one is going to have to take care of me when I get older. I'm going to take care of myself. I'm doing it so I look good. I don't care. I will admit that. I am vain. I lost a bunch of weight and now I look at myself in the mirror and I think, oh my God, I can't believe you even get to look that way. I have that thought about myself because I spent the first 46 years of my life obese. And I'm not anymore. And I get to look in the mirror and see a normal weight person. It's crazy. I can't believe it. It's like I won something every single morning. It's like I won something. And I take that feeling with me into my social events, into those work lunches where there's all kinds of crap that I would love to eat, into social gatherings where there are chocolate chips involved. Y'all, I love chocolate chip cookies. That did not go away when I lost weight. When I see them, I want them every time. It's hard every time to say no, but I do because my why is so strong. I want to be healthy. I want to not be a burden on my children. I want to still look good in the mirror and still be grateful to be in this body every day. You got to want it so bad. And if you can walk into an event with that in your mind, you're more likely to make a better choice. I'm going to be honest with you, a food does not exist that's worth me giving up this newfound body. It doesn't exist. If you said, Heather, you can never eat that again, if you want to keep that body, I'd say, okay. There is not anything that you could say where I'd be like, oh, well, okay, I guess I'll put all the weight back on because I really want to eat that. Eat that food that's in my mouth for, 30 seconds, 5 minutes, depending on how much it is, that literally turns to shit a couple hours after I eat it. That's worth me giving up my health, me giving up the time I have with my children, me giving up how I get to look. No, ma'am. No, it is not. And if you're not there yet, I assure you, it is worth it. So even if you can't lean on the body that you have found yourself in after a really hard weight loss journey, if you're somewhere toward the beginning, you still got plenty of reasons to get there. And that future body is waiting for you and it won't ever happen if you can't learn to say no, if you can't learn how to deal with these slips and make them way less frequent than they probably are right now. Your weight loss journey is not one big thing. It is hundreds and thousands of tiny little things that stack up. Tiny, tiny little choices that you make day after day, moment after moment, that's going to determine whether you get to move forward in your weight loss journey or if you stumble and plateau or reverse. So I absolutely encourage you to figure out what will inspire you to make those good choices day after day, to go against the grain, to be able to say no thank you, to be able to sit down and plan ahead, to know what your foods are, to pack your own. You need to figure out what's a strong enough reason for me to stay in this game, because it is long, it is lonely, and there is no finish line. Make good choices.